That last no-scope kill and hit pause. It's time for the video game podcast where the Konami code is alive and well. The console wars don't exist. Rings are just as valuable as coins. Pots are not safe from swords. Giant robots kick ass. And fireballs are a perfectly acceptable weapon in a fist fight. That's right, it's time for the Super Gamer Bros podcast Ultra Hyper Alpha Super EX Double Impact Plus A Live. Settle in and let's get to gaming.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Super Gamer Bros. We've been talking this week about if we could survive a console-less future with the rise of technology and cloud gaming. And yesterday, I was defending cloud gaming against two jackals who just were relentless. It was kind of awesome. So today, and Hinthar was not one of those jackals, just so you know. So today we're gonna
it's Cassandra now.
No, I just sat back and watched them devour you, which is I hope everyone else did the same and enjoyed themselves because I know I did.
What is this? Jump on Slayton Day? Come on, guys.
No, for some reason I'm imagining the scene from The Lion King, and I'm not sure which one Shalik and I are of the hyenas.
You're the wildebeest jumping down to the canyon.
Yeah, there you go.
So, I am one of your steady gamers. You can find me on Xbox. I'm joined by Grizzly Ninja.
Hey, beautiful people.
And our Maven Cassandra.
Hi, I actually do love video games.
And, of course, my partner in crime, Inzar.
Hello.
Cynic.
Hinthar.
I really just need to, set gamer tags. So I'm the one with the set one. Cynic has two.
Yeah, I mean... Well, I'm fine having two as long as it's not confusing, which it sounds like it is. So we'll just have to keep reminding folks. So it's all good for me.
All right, so let's get into today's discussion. The problems with cloud gaming. We discussed a bunch of them yesterday. But
they kind of smashed you over the head with some of them yesterday.
Well, it's because they're PC and console lovers. Like, I love my Xbox, don't get me wrong. And I do think that when they introduce xCloud on the Xbox console, you will see the difference. They are going to introduce, apparently, an Xbox Games Pass streaming stick, like a Fire TV stick. So, you're going to see it coming. But I think, and Cassandra loves to talk about this, and she has a point. It's heavily relied upon by the internet. You have to have a new connection to get the best out of it. Mm-hmm. You can play with anything, but I think if you're going to try to really console-less cloud game things, you're going to have to fix it. So I will let Cassandra explain the internet problem.
So right now, our country has the internet as a free market. Quote, free market. And that's what that means is basically a bunch of corporations all got together, divided out each area. Worse than drug dealers, by the way, because these drug dealers will fucking fight over terrain. And they have limited and backpedaled.
It's a very strange comparison, but I'll let you keep going.
Basically, the
worse
internet
than the
companies
murderers
have blocked out. I mean, looking at how some of the AAA, how corporations treat people makes sense. But the internet companies themselves have throttled the U.S. market on internet to the point of we equal some third world countries. Like if you go to Asia and parts of Europe, their internet is 1,000 times better. They have to, in fighting games and some other stuff, and Shalik can attest to this, they have to throttle themselves back when they're dealing with the United States. That's why rollback code is so effing important. Actually, Seneca, you know that too, right? Through how important rollback codes are for
rollback code with regards to gaming in general, fighting games especially, is what rollback is infamous for needing to be integrated into for folks who aren't in the know about the different types of internet infrastructure for online gaming there.
So yeah, we lack a good internet. I used to live in Liberty Hill, Texas for a short time. It was no cable internet. I would have to come to my father's house so I could upload patches to WoW. I was on a 56K modem. This was in 2017.
Dang.
Yeah, outskirts of towns. They
Here's
don't
the
get any
thing.
love.
Imagine Liberty Hill as the entire northeast of the United States.
I'm
True.
imagining it somehow.
Yes, because it is. And so when you have that lack of it, yes, your internet can be great in Washington, parts of California, parts of Oregon, New York, Austin, Dallas, Miami, wherever the big cities are, your internet's going to be great. But for about 98% of the rest of the United States, it's garbage.
Yeah, and then if you want something to get even better, you have to pay on our I paid $90 just for internet alone, and I'm supposed to get up to like 500 megabits, and I get maybe 100 of that if on a good day. And that's with using non-cable, which like my own modem and my own router and stuff like that. And it
But you might
still
want to check if you're updated because you might be having a bad modem issue at that point.
yeah,
No.
basically it's just the running. I'm gonna get the Orbeez for my house, but it's basically the internet's perfect, the gear's perfect. It's just it going through my house is trash, which a lot of problems that a lot of people have is it's not the internet or the gear. Sometimes it's just how houses are set up. My room is the furthest from the Wi-Fi in the house, and it's behind a window, so it's just like
I have.
Can't have the pizza in there.
Uh-oh. Henzar robot.
Bollocks. That's unpluggable.
So, while he's looking at that,
Henzar became a Dalek.
I have internet gig here. I pay a lot for it. It's $140 a month. I've got the Wi-Fi mesh in the house. I have things that are hardwired, but they always tell you get up to that speed. You will never get that top speed.
No.
yeah, but
Most
you're
of my
supposed to get close.
devices sit
Better, by the
between
way.
650 and 850.
Yeah,
Robot? No robot?
Yeah,
No
you're
robot.
good.
Cool.
So the internet does play a big issue.
yeah, but you're getting that's also like 3/4 of your internet that you're getting versus like a fifth.
Yeah, go get your money back. Shiley. Go talk to someone about that.
So I know who wrote this note. The idea of death of game ownership.
Yeah.
Cassandra.
Hi, welcome back.
Was it just the Cassandra show today?
You do like gaming, apparently. We know.
I
we know.
do like gaming. So yes, the death of game ownership. The right to claim a product is yours, which is what has been dying in the United States and around the world. I can't use one of my favorite examples anymore because they brought the game back, but that was out of more of a protest than anything. But yeah, if a service goes down and for some reason you don't have a physical copy of that game, or at the time you don't get a chance to download it, that money you spent is gone. And like owning that game is no longer, you don't own it. You
That's actually happened to me. That's actually happened to me before, and I was wicked surprised when it happened because I didn't even understand what the hell's going on.
Sure.
Can I do a survey real quick?
Agree. I'll definitely agree with that because if I pay for something, I want to be able to play it pretty much any time, even without an internet connection. And if you do happen to pay for something and all of a sudden you can't play it, even like the single player stuff that shouldn't really require an internet connection, I think that just by principle, that's a little flawed. That's for sure.
It is greatly.
Okay, general question, because I think I don't play games the same way you guys do. I have my live service games that I play all the time.
I was gonna say you're all about that multiplayer though.
But when it comes to single player games, I usually play them once and never go back.
Mm.
Yeah,
so I would play it, and that's it.
Yeah, I think you play a lot of multiplayer games that require an internet connection anyway, and you're probably gonna get they require updates to stay functional online when you play with people anyway. So I think
you can just say it. You can just say it. He's basic.
Oh.
He's basic.
No.
No, I'm a
I,
social
I,
gamer.
if I sat here and said that anybody who is a multiplayer gamer is basic, I'm going to be insulting a lot of people because
Hold on. I do
Basic.
believe someone else here plays a crap ton of multiplayer games very competitively.
I do, and I also play a lot of single player games as well.
I'm looking at you. See, I don't play that many single player games. I will play them if they look interesting. Like, there's a bunch on Games Pass that I've got to experience.
Well, my favorite genre, hands down, is open world. So, like, you don't need interconnection for that at all.
But yeah, when it comes to the death of the game ownership, I think they may make it where you always have the option to buy it, because even with Games Pass, you can buy it at a discount.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but if the servers remove the ability to download it, then yeah, it doesn't matter if you own it. In fact, it's possibly even worse.
I'm sorry, Cassandra. If in 15 years they take down the Afterlife server, I don't think anybody's going to really care.
Well,
In 15 years, if they're like, well, Among Us hasn't been really played for 7 years, and they kill the server, no one's really going to care.
Yeah,
I got a question.
there have been instances where like the Marvel license gets taken away from somebody like Capcom, and you've had like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and 3. They've all kind of been taken off the marketplace. But it's happened multiple times before. So I think if you're going to go download only on Marvel 1, 2, or 3, either of those, you may just not want to delete that shit off your hard drive,
Yeah. And who's going back and playing Marvel vs. Capcom 1? That was
A lot of
1995.
I'm about to say, hold on, I'm going to step away from the monitor a little bit because
that's alive and kicking.
I actually got a good one. This is actually relevant. This happened to me. Me and Cynic talked about it. I bought a game on 360 in the store, right? And on 360, you have to be online with an active subscription to play your game, no matter if you bought it or not. That's already one fucked up thing about the game.
Which game are we talking about here?
Fight Night Round 4. I'm going there.
Round 4? Okay.
So Fight Night Round 4 is arguably probably one of the greatest of the franchise for Fight Night. It was actually the last one before they made was it Champion?
Champion, I think.
Yeah, Champion.
The last one, yeah.
So it's the last. It's one of the most popular. I bought that game, loved the game. I always can go back over the years and play it. Came back, they took it off the store, and the game is actually a rare thing. So if you go to places like GameStop, Game Exchange, or any local place, it's a really hard game to find. So I was like, I actually paid for that game, and now it's lost to me forever.
I'm lucky to own a copy of that, and if the servers were down and it needs like a big update, I don't care, because then I get to exploit that whole keep jacking your character's punching power and defense up in training. Like, I love that patch. It makes the career mode playable. So yeah, I won't miss the server being gone for that one. But it does mean that I'll miss out on the experience that they wanted me to have.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of give and take there. Yeah, I need to plug in my 360, I guess, if I want to play the updated fixed version of that thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, outside of some classic gamers, anyone who really goes back. And they're really good at games people who may want to play, like the Nintendo Switch is king of the virtual console right now.
Yeah,
it's got an NES game, Super Nintendo running on it. But okay, they're fun for a minute. I think if someone were to pull the plug on an old game that people haven't touched in years, no one's really going to complain.
I was saying this is a game that I know personally, and that's Persona 4. Persona 4 got put on on Steam. That's an 11-year-old title. That's like, that thing was on the PlayStation 2, mid-PlayStation 2 like. And it had 1.5 million downloads. So
yeah, I'm with Cassandra on that one. Because some games, I feel like you personally probably won't go back, but there's a lot of games people go back and play. Like, I'm playing Madden 12. I've been playing Madden 12 for 3 weeks now, and that game literally came out in 2011. Like they don't even they turned down the servers a long time ago, and I'm playing that game.
Why aren't you playing the new one?
I do have the new one. I own the newest one, 2021. But Madden 12 was I have played it. I just don't like it as much as my Madden 12. Madden 12. Some games, like for example, this is one that we all know. Skyrim. Skyrim came out in 2009, and it's still worth $30. Like that game's old. It's been remastered. It's been remastered twice, I think.
Yeah, it ended up on Stadia, for God's sake.
Yeah, exactly. So just because it's old doesn't mean it's still not forever. For example,
I was going to ask Kevin. I have to ask you a question, and this is absolutely loving. This is absolutely loving when I ask you this. If you have it where if it's anything older than a year, you just can't imagine watching it or touching it or playing it.
No. That's not it at all.
Okay.
It's like they were really good on backwards compatible games, and that's what Cloud is good for, putting those games up there. But there are some things people just stop playing. Just everything has a cycle unless it's one of these persistent online games, and the life cycle could be 15 years. And if you really, 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 really just have to go back and play Incredible Crisis from the PlayStation 1 days, then go to one of those game cafes, have them, play it there. Maybe that's the way to get out there in the community. As a business, they can't function by keeping servers up indefinitely that aren't getting traffic.
No, they don't. They choose. I think it's stunning that. I think they choose to because there's a lot of cases where games are still running at full-on strength on servers, and they just say, I don't want to use the resources. I rather do this because a lot of people will say one of the greatest games of the Madden franchise would be Madden 12 because after Madden 12, Madden 13 came out and they changed the franchise forever. And like I said, I've played Madden 21. I've played it plenty of times, but it just doesn't beat earlier games. For example, I love 2K21. I played 2K21, but 2K19 for me just did it. It's just like, so it gives you an opportunity to be like, okay, we have this, even though we're putting money into this, because at the end of the day, it's about the business and what they want. They're not going to keep up a server for a game 15 years if they have another game like that now, because they feel like we invested money and time now, we want this. Because there's a game, and I talked about this before, ESPN, it was called, it was Esports MMA, and it was a huge game. Before UFC came out, the new UFC series came out, huge game. Breaking the servers. They're like, you know what, guys? We're going to make a 2. We're going to put the servers down for a second so we can finish the game because it was a small group that was working under EA. Next thing you know, EA was like, haha, screw you. We're selling the rights to UFC. UFC made their game, and it just disappeared. And that game was huge. Actually, if you look at the numbers, it was probably bigger. Decisions. Exactly. And it had full time. But it had nothing to do with the server. It had nothing to do with the activity because the activity was obviously there. Beyond there.
Stone,
there are always big exceptions to that.
Stone, I have the perfect example for you.
Okay, last note.
A perfect example of a company who was trying to funnel people into something else and they ignored their fan base. And that is City of fucking Heroes. City of Heroes had a giant populace attached to it. Yes, it only had like 6 active servers, but they were always full. And the minute Guild Wars 2 came out, they're like, hey guys, we only have enough room for technically 1 game, and we're going to kill City of Heroes. Why? Because we want you to play Guild Wars 2.
It's
and then business side all of a sudden, a bunch of fans, like, what was it, last year, found the code, like the codex and got released, and they went released.
And they made their own.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's been our talk. Oh, Cynic has something to say. Last thing now goes to Cynic. You're muted.
Cynic, you're muted, buddy.
We can't hear you.
I don't think you can hear us. I didn't know if that was a joke or not. I thought you were like...
There we go.
My bad.
My bad.
Nice like a monster.
So when I was No, do I sound okay, by the way? I'm
Yeah, you
hoping.
sound
So,
fine.
Okay, good. So all I was going to say is that I think if we're wanting to stay on the topic of cloud gaming, something killing servers, it goes way beyond. That's just keeping a game functional the way they want to keep it functional. There are ways, and there are people who go out of their way to keep certain games alive, and like I can't remember off the top of my head what it is now. You mentioned Marvel vs. Capcom. There's a group of people out there creating servers for fighting games, Marvel vs. Capcom being just one of them. So you can leave it to a community to keep certain things alive and to create servers for these things that have been dead. And if you want to use cloud gaming to make those things better, like cloud gaming, I think does have the capabilities to give access to that kind of thing. And so, I mean, you don't see that kind of shit on consoles ever. I can't go on my Xbox and play Marvel vs. Capcom online right now, but I sure as hell can go on a PC and play with this group of people who created servers for it. There's not a problem with that.
Well, good point. We're going to continue this talk tomorrow as we see. We're going to be talking about Game Pass and subscription services that lead to cloud gaming. And I call it the Netflix effect. And we're going to talk about that tomorrow, so make sure you're here for that. Don't forget, wherever you're watching this, like and subscribe to us. We love hearing from you guys. Comment away, have fun. And we will see you guys tomorrow as we continue our talk on could we survive a console-less gaming future. All right, are we ready for the next topic?
Sure.
Cool.
This is the problems with cloud gaming.
Oh boy, I don't have.
Damn, I felt like the other one was I feel like we talked more shit about it in the first episode.
Well, this is just a continuation of that.
Okay.
So I'm hitting my timer now.